Hi, I'm Sam Thurgood and welcome to my 5-minute Parsha. In this week's Sidra of Mattot-Masei, we begin Mattot with reading about the laws of vows and oaths and the idea that through our very words we can create a new halachic spiritual status in the world. Things that were permissible to me before now become forbidden. Now remember, I was at a Shabbat table once, we were having a discussion, and one of the men around the table shared his challenge to stop smoking. It was something that he'd wanted to do for a long time. He tried various methods and he'd been unsuccessful. But then he says he came upon a new way, and that was through taking a vow. He used the halachic formulation where he said that cigarettes are forbidden to me like a korban. There's a certain way that it must be said, but he prohibited cigarettes to himself halachically. So even though many halachic authorities hold it's already forbidden to smoke, but let's say even according to those who perhaps haven't addressed it or haven't prohibited it. So what he did was, by making this vow, he prohibited himself from smoking any cigarettes. And from that moment on, the second he would smoke a cigarette, it would not only be bad for his health and so on and so forth, but it would actually be violating halachic prohibition, the same as eating non-kosher. And he shared the story with a big smile of how he had found this halachic mechanism which solved the problem in his life. And I naively asked, but right after Rosh Hashanah, right before Rosh Hashanah, didn't you annul all your vows and all vows that you're going to make in the future as well, and therefore it shouldn't be valid? And his wife gave me a glare that I will never forget. But the point is, this power that we have, how does it actually work? And is this something desirable or not? In a nutshell, I'd like to share an approach that comes from Rabbeinu Yonah and from the Maharal of Prague, that they say in most cases a vow is not a good thing. Because what a person does by taking a vow, by prohibiting something else, is they remove themselves from the rest of the Jewish people. The Gemara uses the analogy, it says, whoever takes a vow, it is as if he has built a private altar. Instead of coming to the central place of worship, to the temple, he's built an own private altar where he has his own relationship with Hashem. It's not a good thing. It's wonderful to be extra holy off all by yourself, but that's not what Hashem wants from us. Hashem wants us to be holy within the midst of our people, within the midst of our nation. As the Kotzker Rebbe says, Anshe Kodesh Tiyunli, holy people you must be to me. Kotzker said, Hashem already has enough angels. More angels he's not looking for. More people who are holy and removed from society. That's not why we were put in bodies in this world. Of course, to be in this world is extremely challenging and very, very difficult. But the vows are not the goal, so why do they exist? So the answer then, says Rabbeinu Yonah, is in a situation like this friend of mine with a smoking problem, where there is a particular kind of temptation, that willpower alone does not seem to be enough. A vow is one of the methods we can take, especially when it comes to something which is a sin or which will lead to a sin, that a person takes a vow that something now becomes absolutely prohibited. And I have a friend who said to me he doesn't understand. He has no problem keeping kosher. I want to say it's the easiest thing in the world, but it's not a challenge. And yet, a diet is something extremely difficult. To say, Hashem said I can't eat this food, fine. But if it's a tasty chocolate that's kosher, it's just, I know it's terrible for me, I have a hard time turning it down, he says. And that is the situation in which, well, that's maybe on one level, certainly protecting your health is a mitzvah, but even things which we know are not problematic in themselves, but lead to serious and dire consequences. In such situations, Hashem has given us the mechanism of the vow, so that now it becomes not only a social, personal, moral obligation, but it becomes our spiritual responsibility to Hashem. And many times that gives us the strength that we need, that buttresses our willpower, so that we can indeed become the kind of people that we want to be. But that's specifically when it comes to dealing with or solving a particular challenge. As a life's approach, we do not embrace or endorse the taking on of vows. What we want to do is we want to be Anshe Kodesh. We want to be holy people within a society, holy people around other people. With all of the challenges and difficulties that presents, that is how we truly reach Hashem. Shabbat Shalom.